is their traditional territory of Anishinaabe and the Métis. Okay. Additions, deletions, or amendments? Are there any?
Just wondering if we could move 9E up.
Yeah, that's right. You wanted to move that, so we will move it to.
I'm sorry, the
9B becomes 8B.
Becomes 8B. Okay.
Just change the resolution.
Okay. Disclosure of interest. Hearing none. Okay, now do we have to do this first?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, it's moved by Councillor Aduno, seconded by Councillor Dubé. Resolved that the Tuesday, February 21st, 2020 agenda be approved as presented.
as amended.
Oh, as amended, sorry. Yeah. All those in favor? Carry. Okay, adoption of minutes. So it's minutes for the regular council meeting from February 6, 2023. Moved by, okay, yeah, I think
That's Gary.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Moved by Gary, seconded by Chris. Resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held Monday, February 6, 2023 be approved as presented. All those in favor?
Can't read it, Monterey.
Okay, reports from administration, CEO clerk. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first report up is the 2022 post-election accessibility report. So just on the front end, the report's being presented as information only. So the background is Section 12(1) of the Municipal Elections Act requires a plan to be prepared pre-election about the identification, removal, and prevention of barriers that affect electors and candidates with disabilities, as well as a follow-up report post-election regarding the same. So our report was posted sometime during the 2022 election period. It is on the website. With respect to the barriers, the clerk shall prepare a plan regarding the identification, removal, and prevention of barriers that affect electors and candidates with disabilities to make a plan available to the public before voting day in a regular election. Within 90 days after voting day in a regular election, the clerk shall prepare a report about the identification, removal, prevention of barriers that affect electors and candidates with disabilities and make, again, the report available to the public. So this report should have come in January, so my apologies, it is a bit late. It is to be posted to the website, so once we pass it here tonight, this report tonight, we'll put the report on the website. All voting locations are accessible. Persons with disabilities can vote independently. Persons with disabilities have full and equal access to all election information. Persons with disabilities can fully participate in the 2022 municipal elections as an elector and or candidate. That electors with disabilities are aware of accessibility measures available. So down below in that report, there are some things we do every year with respect to our paper ballot election. So we do use paper ballots, traditional method. We do have large print contrasting colors on the ballots. So they're printed with a black background and a lighter color text. We have magnifying sheets behind the screens to be used by the electors. All of our forms, or the majority of our forms, are available online in a accessible format, either through PDF, which they can use their own computer to access accessibility features, or right on the website itself. Any forms that are prescribed forms, especially from the province, are definitely accessible as well. The advanced poll, the two polling days on voting day on the 24th, the advanced poll on October 15th. So the advanced poll was held here at the Terrace Bay Community Center. The building is accessible with barrier-free entrances, single level, accessible parking, accessible facilities, and the restrooms. On election day on the 24th, the voting location was the Michael King Hall at the Terrace Bay Cultural Center, which also has barrier-free entrances, is single level, has accessible parking with accessible facilities and the restrooms. Again, for individuals with limited vision, as I just said, we had magnifying sheets made available, and the ballots themselves are printed in high contrast colors. Addition, a special poll was also provided on election day at the McCausland Hospital Wellness Terrace long-term care facility, exclusively for the residents of those facilities. Financial implications, none. Options not applicable, as this is all being presented for information purposes only. I will comment with respect to that. Probably in the next election, administration will bring forward a recommendation to explore or move to internet or online voting or some sort of hybrid or combination of the two. Why haven't we done it yet? There were lots of problems in the 2018 election with respect to internet connectivity and bandwidth. Hopefully by 2026, a lot of those things are ironed out. We're currently getting fiber optic internet here from, we already have a pretty good high speed, but we're getting fiber optic as well through TVTel. And I think it'll probably be good, or at least feasible to look at that point, but that won't happen until 2026. So that recommendation would come forward. This council will make the decision as to whether or not, well, I can make a recommendation, but it's actually council's on whether or not we use an alternative voting method. It eliminates a lot of barriers. Voting locations and accessibility obviously are no longer an issue. We will probably have, if we went with the traditional model of electronic voting, there'd probably be a computer here in the municipal office people can come access and use. Again, we have barrier-free entrance and accessible washrooms. Other reasons that are outside the accessibility would be advanced votes are no longer required because voting is open for approximately just under 30 days. Just under 30 days. And also eliminates the need for proxies, along with a host of other things. We don't get into this level of detail. But again, as I said, ultimately this council decision. So.
Okay, any questions? Gary?
Do you have a process to identify barriers we're not aware of?
Really, it's just myself, Jen, and sometimes Danny going around looking to see. Nothing's come up yet that doesn't mean it doesn't exist for somebody with a different ability we just don't know about. So most of it is visible and physical, but of course there could be other things. We try to keep the wording in our forms simplified as well too, for somebody who has a learning disability or something, that kind of abilities.
Legislated or not, I really appreciate your work on this, John. Well, I appreciate all your work.
Okay, so it's moved by Councillor Aduno, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that administration is presenting this report as required by legislation and for information purposes only. All those in favor? Next up, sale of surplus land.
Mr. Chair. So the township has been in discussions with MTO, Ministry of Transportation. It's the last time I'll say that, for 3 years regarding the development of a highway rest stop here at Terrace Bay at the highway commercial properties in Lane Drive. These properties were originally required and developed with the intent of creating a highway commercial business area. The subject properties have been previously appraised and listed for sale on an ongoing basis for the last decade, at least the last decade. While there's been some limited interest over the township's tenure, so lot 2, which now contains the gas station, was previously sold. That was the one lot we successfully sold. The properties were leased or was leased briefly by Nextbridge with the intent of establishing a temporary work camp related to the construction of the East West High project. Eventually that work camp moved to Marathon, and then we finished out our leases with them, and actually I think we got out of that bit early. So this is the first time, first offer on these specific lots being brought forward for consideration. So the current discussion, the township has received an offer to purchase properties from the MTO for $105,000. As council is aware, it's been in the media. It was announced 2 years ago on the radio, actually. It is the ministry's intent to construct a highway rest stop with ample parking for both small and large vehicles or at least transports, in addition to washrooms and a picnic area. Shall finish this. So get some pictures. In accordance with bylaws 33/2007, sale of real property notice will be provided at the pending sale. In accordance with bylaw 30/2013, notice bylaw amendment, notice of land sales will be provided one or more of 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is determined by the clerk. Bylaw 35/2008, the notice bylaw lists method 6 means posted on the property affected. Notice 8 means listing and identifying the subject matter on a regular council agenda. So we've satisfied both those requirements with respect to notice. There is a billboard that's been on site again for over a decade, advertising the properties for sale, and of course the posting of this agenda also meets the requirements. In terms of the monetary offer, section 3 of bylaw 33/2007, being a bylaw to establish procedures for sale of real property, states the clerk shall be responsible for obtaining one or more appraisal prior to consideration by council of the bylaw to sell, except in such cases where the appraisal is not required by the act, not in the opinion of the clerk advisable in the circumstances. Again, a number of factors lead to the opinion that obtaining appraisal was not advisable in the situation if the offer was acceptable. Historical value with successive sales of vacant township owned land, previous experience of costs of obtaining an appraisal in a timely manner, the current real estate market in Terrace Bay Scriber area, lack of historical interest in specific properties, and the intended public sell properties. Financial implications. The 105 will not be included in the 2023 budget, but will be transferred to reserves at year end or sooner. That's the plan for administration right now. Council could obviously claim that as part of the budget discussions, but as per the draft agreement, MTO also agrees to pay reasonable fees for the legal services provided by the owner to the owner to complete the transaction. So options. Option one is that council accept the offer of 105,000 from His Majesty the King and the right of the province of Ontario, represented by the Ministry of Transportation, for the surplus properties legally described as parts 3, 4, 5, and 10 on plan registered 55 R11 734 Millennium Drive, respectively, and that the appropriate bylaw authorizing sale agreement be brought forward. Option two is that council not accept the offer and direct administration to negotiate further. Option three is that council not accept the offer for the subject properties and direct administration otherwise. Administration is recommending option one. So I will show you here. To get this up on the board, sorry. You know, one button shortcut for this.
No, we need to get you an admin system that we do. It's like work, so. Let's not take minutes. I'm an admin, a tech.
Yeah, I'm not.
No, there's a messed up.
Ooh.
There we go. So the lots in question are 3, 4, 5. Just a little bit here for you. Part 3, part 4, part 5, and part 10 as well. Part 10 we never had up for sale that I can find record, or we haven't had it appraised. Part 9 is actually a easement set aside for MTO for monitoring wells. So it actually runs across the front as well too. The conceptual drawings are here. As you can see, this is what they've laid out so far. If you have any comment, we can obviously provide. But that's what they're looking at. So they're looking for all 3 lots plus the section 10. Maybe putting in a washroom building. There's a small dog park there as well too. Lots of parking for larger vehicles. And of course, regular or conventional vehicles on the other side. 3, 4, 5 were appraised at 113,000 prior to servicing in 2002. They were offered for sale again in 2014 at 276. We didn't receive any serious offers. I actually can't find any backup for the increase in pricing in 2014. I don't know if it's just something we did. Land has been for sale as far back as 2010. The impact valuation for the entire parcel is $36,500. Other appraisals in the area have seen between $1,000 and $2,000 per acre of similar land, putting the range between $12,000 and $24,000 that way for vacant land. So that's that. Actually, questions?
Any questions, guys?
Is there a timeline like if they have to construct?
They want to get this done as quickly as possible. As soon as we get the land sale done, they will kick it to high gear. They did some of the clearing in the fall. We've given them permission to do that so they could do some more soil testing. But I believe they have a contractor lined up for clearing of the trees, and we will know more in a week or so. They have somebody coming down to meet with us on the community transportation grant and signs. So we'll get some more information.
Bert?
Is the MTO, they going to have a stipulation regarding RV camping or staying in there? Thinking ahead to if we do construct an RV park of someone.
Definitely something we can discuss with them. It's not permitted. It's not zoned for it. So that's one way we would discuss with them on that. And they could put signage up like we have.
Right.
In terms of enforcement, that's a longer discussion, but generally speaking, It's not zoned for it, so they wouldn't be able to just allow it.
Okay.
Does that apply even for truck drivers? That would be park there?
That's what we'd have to determine, whether it's camping or parking overnight. They're not really camping by definition, but
Yeah.
that's a good question.
Well, because I know they do it now at the one business in town
Existing,
already,
right?
right? Whether it's allowed or not, they do it, so.
Yeah.
If there was ever a place to allow it, this would be it. So,
Exactly. This should, if everything goes right, alleviate a lot of the problems that we're having.
absolutely.
The residents behind the canning pole, hopefully we'll see the trucks move down there. That's what my hope would be anyway. And,
Yeah, I think it's important, the language though, as you said, between camping and overnight parking.
Yeah.
That can be, from an enforcement perspective, there's a difference.
one thing COVID taught us real quick, right, is that those poor guys were trying to deliver freight across the country and they weren't allowed to use a bathroom to leave.
Yeah.
So like, this have to happen. It just makes sense. I think the ministry knows that. I mean, they were moving ahead with these. I think they're building a few of them, right?
Yeah, the last one was in Manitowoc. Maybe the
Yeah.
other ones I'm not aware, but in this group, it's Manitowoc. This one.
Okay, anything else, guys? No? Okay, so moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Johnson, resolve the council accept the offer of 105,000 from His Majesty the King in right of the province of Ontario, represented by the Minister of Transportation for the province of Ontario, for the surplus properties legally described as parts 3, 4, 5, and 10 on plan registered as 55R 11734 Millennium Drive respectively, and that the appropriate bylaw authorizing the sale agreement be brought forward. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Okay. There you go. Okay, approval of the payroll and disbursements. Okay, so it's moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Bouvet. Resolved that council approved the general disbursements for the month ending December 2022 in the amount of 1,767,908.14. All those in favor? There. Pay the bills. By Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Dubé, resolve the council approve the general disbursements for the month ending January 2023 in the amount of $1,226,572.64. All those in favor? And that was carried. Yeah,
Issues.
yeah, communication. This is the Superior Classics Car Club. So this is, what about John? It's just, this looks like it's just to let us know what's happening.
Exactly. So the park club's just letting us know the test and tune will be happening the weekend of June 9th, 10th, and 11th. And drag events, of course, will always be happening on the Civic Long weekend in August, which is the 4th, 5th, and 6th. I look forward to working with the township. Really appreciate everything we do. And they're looking forward to having a sort of a normal year after a few years of COVID level racing, unfortunately. So,
Mhm.
so we, as administration, will continue to meet some meeting up to the up to both the Test and Tune and Drag Fest, supporting them as we have in the past. Any anomalies we bring forward to council. All that stuff is also tracked through our budget process as we track the ski hill and the golf course as well.
That's good. Okay, next, what's gonna be the addition, which would be what, municipality of Shunya, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So Bert, I'll let you speak on that one if you want. You brought it up.
Well, they make a valid point that, you know, the province thinks that the large city mayors have reason to enact ordinance allowing houses to be built, even if the total rest of the council is opposed to it. I personally, I can't see the real purpose in the whole thing, but that's besides the point. If the province wants to enact something, they have different ways of being able to do it without bringing in to all of the changes that they're looking at. And I think that we should support Shunya, who's supporting Coburn and Greenstone. That it's powers that shouldn't be looked at. I don't think.
Yeah, this is all part of the Strong Mayor's Act, right?
Yes.
Which gives a mayor a lot more authority to act on his own. Yeah. How do the rest of you feel about it? Gary, Chris?
How much time do you have? No, I agree, Bert. Yeah, it is unnecessary. I see it as that.
Gary?
Yeah, I would have a similar opinion along the similar lines there. This.
Do we need a resolution?
We can bring one forward at the next meeting.
Okay.
Do it up nice, so it's on our letterhead and supporting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that for next meeting. We'll bring it forward.
Yeah. Okay.
Just giving it a bit longer resolution, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next? Bylaws. Okay. Moved by Councillor Dubé, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolve the council approve the bylaw to authorize the sale of surplus land to be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered on this 21st day of February 2023. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, next council meeting. Oh, first, sorry. Question period.
Yeah, there is one question. Did put it into the chat, but there is a question. It's from Mr. LeBlanc, I believe. Commercial lot and MTO deal, how many lots will that leave in the area for future development if the MTO purchases these lots? How much tax does the community collect roughly if the project goes ahead? With respect to the number of lots in the area, there's expansive land in behind. There's specifically lot 1 and lot 7 still remain. Lot 1 is next to the SPG or west of the SPG. So lot 1 is still here. There's the SPG. And then lot 7 here, part 7, excuse me, is on the south half of Millennium Drive across from part 3. So there still are 2 lots that are available, plus other land back here that we also own. It's not defined as a lot survey in particular. So there is still some room there for development if it be.
Okay.
With respect to the taxes, I don't have an answer. I don't know what Danny can answer either. There's lots of variables there. The government typically pays us payments in lieu of taxes. So I don't know what, and again, it would depend on what's developed there as well too, on what we're missing out on. So Danny,
Talking with them.
we don't know yet.
So it'll be, okay, so it'll be payment in lieu of taxes.
Yeah, we won't be getting significant amount.
Right, okay. So hopefully that answers the question on that one. Okay, anything else? Nothing?
Nope, no other questions, sorry.
Okay.
Any from the public?
Oh, I never thought. Bill, do you have anything? Okay. Nothing in camera, right?
Yep, we do have in camera.
Oh, we do have in camera. Oh, yes, we do. Okay. So, I guess now we're moving into camera. I don't know why I said nothing.
First position.
We have a resolution.
No, that's what I just said.
Stop and move it second.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
resolution would read,
I need
the council now moving the camera concerning of personal matters but identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees regarding non-union annual performance appraisals. Need to move it.
Need a mover? And a seconder. Okay, so Gary and Bert. Okay, we are now going into camera.
Call the vote.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. All those in favor? And that's passed. Okay. We are now.
Okay, for those online, if you want to come back and watch us log
Okay,
out,
thank you.
you can. Thanks for joining us. You can use the same link, come back when you want to watch us adjourn. So,
You want me to go too, right?
yeah.
I'll stay,